Okay, so I'm coming to you from this place called Grand Valley, Arizona, and this is the Grand Valley Ranch that I'm staying on. And I just wanted to show you in the background the mountains and the clouds and how beautiful it is. There's really nobody else out here. I've seen a few people go, there's a dirt road over here. I've seen a few people go down that dirt road going way back there. I assume they're, riding their four-wheelers or maybe even camping back there. But there's no one, as far as I can see, from any direction camping. So I kind of have the place to myself, which is pretty good because I can run the generator if I want to and that kind of thing. Beautiful, beautiful weather out here today. Beautiful billowing clouds make for great pictures. In the other direction, about a quarter of a mile is a train track. And so what I've been doing is I've been flying my drone down there whenever I hear a train coming. Now, a lot of the times I don't hear it till it's too late, and then by the time I get the drone a quarter mile away, it's too late. The train's already passing by. I've got this little challenge where I'm trying to catch the train or get there to the track before the train passes. And I call it train chasing. You know how a dog chases a truck or a car when the car goes by? So that's the way I feel like with trains. But it's really actually kind of fun. Some trains are going a little bit too fast and I can't keep up with them. And some trains, the bigger, slower freight trains, I can keep up with. So those I catch and I can fly really close to them. And there's just so much at risk. There's the risk of you slamming into the train. There's the risk and you lose your drone. Then there's the risk of, getting arrested. It's probably illegal. Then there's it's very like you can tell right now it's really windy out here, and also the train itself creates a lot of wind, and so that adds to the risk. So it's kind of like it's a sport actually. Kind of like you're flying this drone, you're going close to 30 miles an hour. That's pretty fast for a tiny little drone this big. My drone is probably, base part of it is probably as big as my cell phone. It's a very, very tiny drone, and so here you are going almost 30 miles an hour, which is pretty fast for something that small. It just flies across the sky. But at the same time, you're able to, look at something like a passing train really closely as it's moving. And there's just something awe-inspiring about that. If you look at trains from different perspective as they're passing, one of the interesting perspectives to me is to look directly down at the train, and you can just see the patterns of movement, as the cars go by. And lastly, one of the more thrilling things for me when I'm train chasing is if there are two trains coming at the same time and I catch them both. So that's also a fun thing. So, I always tell people, your life is up to you. Make it fun, make it interesting. Don't just sit inside. I know a lot of people are being quarantined right now, but try to get outside if you can. It doesn't mean you have to go across town if you're not allowed to do that, but at least come outside and see what you can get into and try some photography like I do, or buy a drone and fly it around the yard. I'm just lucky because I happen to be in the state of Arizona that doesn't have a lockdown rule. Now, whether that's a good or a bad idea, that's up for you to determine. I just think if you stay inside all the time, it just kills you. You're just staring at four walls, and life's not worthwhile. So I just have to get out. I do not spend very much time when I'm camping indoors, inside the camper. The only time I spend inside the camper is at nighttime when I have to, because there are a lot of the critters roaming out here. The last place I camped at, we had bobcats. And you know, they have this thing where they like to jump. They have, I think it's called the death jump. They get on a high platform and they jump like up to 10 feet on their prey. So just that thought always kind of kept me indoors at night. So it looks like to me, I just had a train pass. So it looks like to me, they're starting to, it's about time for them to starting to pass. Sometimes, you know, they're like different times of the day that they'll pass. Like not very many will come in the morning, but then like in the early afternoon, you'll see one come right after the other. And in the evenings, sometimes you'll see one come every 15 minutes. And they come literally all night long, like every hour for sure, the trains come by. Now, unfortunately, when I'm flying a drone, I can't fly it at night because it has visual sensors. You know, it looks for light for its guidance. It uses GPS, but it also uses light on the sensors, you know, so that it knows, you know, like for example, when it lands, how close it is to the ground. And if you're flying it above something, and it gets too close to it, it'll go back up again. So it has some sensors on it that use light. So if I try to fly the drone at night, it'll say insufficient light to, you know, for sensors, and it won't even take off. You know, it overrules my command to take off. You know, it'll just sit there. It looks like it's, they're gonna start having some more trains. So I think I'm gonna get my drone out. It's a little bit windy today. I think the weather said it was about 16 mile per hour winds. So it's a little bit windy today, but I checked my drone and it can handle, believe it or not, up to 17 mile per hour winds. So I think it should be okay. It was really windy yesterday. In fact, I was flying over a train yesterday and it was just, you know, the wind really, you know, from just the wind plus the force from the train really shook the drone, and I don't see that very often. The drone is exceptionally good at keeping itself steady, but I knew it was pretty windy yesterday. So anyway, just want to show you the sky and the mountains, and this is a beautiful place to camp. If you ever decide you want to come out this way and camp, if you have a camper, it's perfect for you know, a camper or a tent even. It gets a little bit chilly here this time of year. It's April at night. When I say chilly, I would say in the 50s, but nothing you can't, you know, handle with you know, just a sleeping bag really. And it gets a little bit warm in the day. I think today it's only going to get, it's going to be nice. I think it's only going to get to like 73 or something, but there have been a few days it's been closer to 80, and you know, it starts getting a little bit toasty, you know, if you go inside the camper during the day for whatever reason. So, all right, just wanted to show you that. And I'll talk to you again later on.